Hello. So, the Hillywood Show, if you do not know, are the internet brainchild of Hilly and Hannah Hindi, and they have been making parodies and videos for years and years and years. And they recently came out with something called Beyond Hillywood podcast, which is basically them going down memory lane and talking about nostalgia. And it kind of inspired me to talk about my personal memories with the Hillywood Show, since I basically grew up with their videos and by extension grew up being a fan of them. So I'm just going to jump right into it because this video will be very long, and I actually have notes over here because I tend to go on tangents. So I remember when the AOL Red video contest first came out. I even remember the little banner. It was like a billboard that had the AOL Red contest on it, and then it had a limousine going down a red carpet or something. So that was really cute. And I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I do remember the first Hillywood Show thing that I ever watched was them impersonating, I believe it was the original winners of the AOL Red, I can never say that, AOL Red video contest. I think one of them had like a crazy blonde wig, and they were both wearing hats, and they were speaking very country. I vaguely remember that. I couldn't tell you the names or anything, but that was the first I ever saw of them. So skip ahead a little to my Sweet 16. So I had been watching the Hillywood Show for a second at this point, right? So my mother, being the person she is, you know, we were planning this big Sweet 16 party, and by big I mean like just a bunch of friends there and a bunch of food. So I was very much looking forward to it. I was very excited. And I remember I was on the computer with my cousin, and she comes in there, she's like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry to do this to you, but there's no way that we can do your party. Like, I just can't afford it. Like, there's no time. Like, I just can't do it." So I'm very upset. I'm crying. And after a while, she admits to me, she's like, "Hey, I mean, if we're gonna go see the Hillywood Show at the Twilight Convention in Nashville, there's just no way I can swing it. There's no way I can afford it after that." And of course, my sad tears turned into happy tears, and I freaked out. And you know, it was just a very distinct memory. So, first Twilight Convention in Nashville, Tennessee. We drove, I want to say 15 to 18 hours to get there. And I remember, so how the Golden Weekend Pass works, for anybody who's never been to the Twilight Conventions, they have these little cards called Golden Weekend Passes, and it gets you in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Friday, everybody is usually arriving, like all the celebrities and stuff are usually arriving. But in this specific convention, there was a long hallway with all the, you know, tables and booths lined up against the wall, like everybody's selling stuff. So we went and saw the table on Friday, and I remember seeing, it was during their new moon parody, because there was like the brown backdrop there, and then the little black covered table with all their merchandise. There was like 2 mannequins with the Team Hillywood shirts on. Like, there was a binder full of photo ops and autographed pictures and stuff. It was the whole thing, right? So very cool. And then the next day, I remember this very vividly. I don't have a great memory, so timelines suck for me, but I remember this very distinctly. We went in there the next day, me and my mom, and all I saw over the crowd of people, all I saw was Drew's blonde Jasper hair. And my poor mother, I like fell onto her. I fell back against her and almost tackled her because I was shook, man. It was a whole entire thing. So we went up to the table, and at this point, I am weeping. I am such a Pisces. I was crying, like sobbing uncontrollably. And I don't get starstruck. I never get starstruck. But I was gone. And I couldn't say anything, and the Golden Weekend Pass, you held it in a lanyard around your neck. And me being the nerd I am, I wrote #1 Hillywood fan on the back. And so all I did, Hilly and Hannah came up to me, and all I did, I like turned it around and showed them, and I was just shaking. I was like, ah. And they're like, oh, please don't cry. And they hugged me, and it was just, it was great. So of course I bought like as much as I possibly could get away with from the table. And I remember buying, I don't know if this was at this convention or the next one. I'm pretty sure it was at the next one, but I bought DVDs of the parodies. I got the Twilight parody, the New Moon parody, and the Dark Knight parody on DVD, which was just revolutionary at that point. So it was just very, very awesome. And at some point I got a photo op. I'm pretty sure my photo op was at the next convention, but anyways. So kind of spoiled it, but at the end of our convention experience, me and my mom were like, all right, once in a lifetime opportunity, Sweet 16 in the bag, good to go, never again. Like we've achieved our dream. All right, we're good to go. End. It was not the end. My poor mother. So I entered a Twitter contest for a Golden Weekend Pass, for 2 tickets for a Golden Weekend Pass. And I won because the original winner did not respond. So I told my mom, and she decided this time to bring me and my younger sister, because Twilight as a whole was a very much a big bonding experience for all of us, like a very family thing. And my sister was a huge fan of the Wolves, so of course she had to go. She had to see, you know, Kiowa Gordon and Gil Birmingham and all them. Like, it was a thing. So I remember the second convention, when I went up to the table this time. This was after they had done, the Hillywood Show had done some sort of sketch to introduce the actors onto the stage. And they came, I remember after watching their sketch, I let my sister chill, like my sister and my mom chill out there, and then I went to behind, like to the little hallway where all the tables and booths were that I mentioned before, and I like, y'all, I'm crazy, okay? I waited at the table, and I remember I saw Miss Emily, and she was like, oh my god, hey, like, I didn't expect to see you here, da da da. And it was just really cute, and then they walked out, and of course, I fangirled, because of course I did. I always do. So I remember that, and also my other memories from the second convention specifically. It was more impactful for me because my sister was there, and we had a very like amazing time, and it was very funny. She'd probably cringe talking about being a Twilight fanatic now, but at the time it was entire interest. It was, you know, it was our lifestyle for a moment. So I remember we were in a convention center that was on like the 3rd floor of a mall, and then the bottom floor was like the food court. And I had kind of been hanging around the Hillywood Show table all day at that point, and I remember they were getting kind of hungry, and I don't recall exactly like how it happened, but I ended up going to get food for them because they were so busy at the table. So I went all the way down to the bottom floor and I got them food, and then I came all the way back up to the top floor and I gave them the food. And I remember the first thing that Kyle said to me, he looked into it, he goes, oh, you forgot mustard. And it was just, I don't know, it was just very funny to me. And yeah, so that's basically sums up the entire convention experience for me. Just a lot of jokes and a lot of running around. And I also remember at the end of each Twilight convention, there was like a dance ball thing. I think it was called the Volturi Ball or something, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me in the comments below, because my memory is absolutely garbage. But I remember I got to dance with Michael Welch to Black Eyed Peas. So that was a very cool experience. Also, I'm going to mention her a little bit later as well, but there's this girl named Sarah Mize who I became very good friends with at the time. And we actually got, when the New Moon Twilight parody was playing on the screen, we actually went to the side, like me, her, and 2 other people went to the side and did the dance, like did the choreography for it. Full disclosure, I can't dance to save my life, but we did it. So it was just very cool. So these next few things, I gotta be real with you, they have no real order to them because I do not remember specifically the dates of anything. I didn't like mark it down or save it somewhere, but I remember there was this thing called Artist on Demand Radio, and the Hillywood Show would get on there a lot and just talk about random stuff, and then fans would be able to call in and ask questions, and I got to ask them a bunch of questions, so that was kind of cool. I remember there's this old thing called Tiny Chat, if anybody remembers what that is, but there was like a video hosting service, and for one of the Christmases, the girls got on and we all had to wear Santa hats and we all chatted and had a good time, so that was kind of cool. I remember Sarah Mize, like I mentioned before, she had a lot of YouTube dances. Like she had the choreography for all the Hillywood Show's dances on her YouTube. So like I would actively try and learn them. Once again, I cannot dance to save my life. I'm not a dance instructor, so I don't know what I'm doing, but you know, I had fun, so that's what matters. Like they were nowhere near as big as they are now. And I remember I got to speak, I had the amazing opportunity to speak to a bunch of the extras in most of the parodies. Like I spoke to a few of the extras in the Twilight parodies, I spoke to a few of the extras in the Warm Bodies parodies. Like there was this person named Joshua Reed Davis, and he was like the coolest, most influential person to me at that time. Like we talked a lot about just random stuff. And I also remember talking briefly to John Henson on Twitter. So that was really cool. He told me like where he got the original outfits from and how he like met them at a convention and things like that. And it was just very cool. And we talked a lot about Bella's truck for some reason, like Bella's truck and her dress. I don't know why that was a thing, but like we discussed that a lot because I was very interested in like cosplay at the time. And also this is really cool. I'm really excited to talk about this. So if anybody glances back at my YouTube history on here, I actually have something called Hillyverse Intro, and it's the Hillywood Show doing an introduction to an old fan site I had called Hillyverse. And it was me, and there was this other girl who ran a much more popular fan site called Hillywood in Oz. And it was, you know, a girl named Alicia from Australia. Me and Alicia got kind of close over social media. She was very amazing and very influential in a lot of different parts of my life. And I remember actually she sent me and one other person a little koala bear with an Australian map jacket on. And we named each of our koala bears after one of the South Park members. Mine was named Cartman, and he had a little flag and everything. Like he held onto a flag and I could clip him onto the side of things. She also wrote me an awesome note and sent me a shirt that said I Heart Hillywood. So it was like very interesting friendship. I felt very cool. I felt like I was part of some kind of like clique family, you know, that went unspoken. So it was very interesting. Gosh, this was all so long ago in my mind, so it's like crazy to think about this and remember things as they pop up. So, skip ahead a bit more recently, and I say recently as in like the last few years. Another little side gift related thing. One Christmas, I think this was the Christmas around when Supernatural parody was out. I could be incorrect. But one of the more recent, you know, parodies had come out. And for Christmas, you know, all I wanted was Hillywood stuff. I wanted like boots and Hillywood stuff for that Christmas, and that was it. And I remember opening up like a manila envelope or something, and I was like, what in the world? And I opened it, and it was a photo op from Dark Knight parody, and it had like the signature and everything. And I was really confused. I'm like, they haven't done Dark Knight in a while. And turns out, I talked to my grandmother, and I don't know how much of this is embellishment and how much actually happened, but she said that she got to email Miss Emily somehow, and they sent me a specific photo because I had been like a really long fan and Dark Knight was my favorite. So those were most of my memories that I feel like I can share. I do have a lot more, but I don't want to make a whole video about like, oh, look at me, I'm so cool, like look how special I am. And I also really don't like sharing certain information because I don't know how personal or private it would be. So like, you know what I mean? Like just certain conversations I had and certain, you know, experiences to my life, because I don't know. Anyways, because these are real people at the end of the day. They're amazing people. They make amazing content. But, you know, I had a lot of very close interactions with the people from the Hillywood Show, and they're very close to my heart. Like, I love these girls with everything that I am. You know, they are the reason I came back to Christianity. They are the reason that I have any kind of creative talent, because whether they know it or not, they're the ones who kept me going, like who made me want to get back into art, get back into, you know, writing parody songs and things of that nature. So very big influences in my life. Nowadays, present time, the only thing that I can really talk about is the cameo that I bought from them. Like, I thought it was pretty cool because they were like, I basically sent a cameo to Hilly and Hannah and also a guy named John Madiston from Star Kid, and was like, hey, this is a hard time right now. What's your advice? And the video that they made for me was just very cute. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I know this was a very ranty and unedited video, and I did leave a lot of it out just because, like I said, I'm worried that I might be, you know, sharing too much on an internet public platform. Like, but these girls are extremely special to me. I am a huge Hillywood fan. I think that's obvious to anybody who meets me. And I'm really happy to see them be so successful. And I know that sounds odd, because usually when you're part of a small fan base, you're like, oh, this is mine. Like, this is my fan base. I don't want it to be mainstream, like whatever. Which, I'll be honest with you, I felt like that with 21 Pilots, so I get it. But for the Hillywood Show, to see stuff like the Supernatural parody where, you know, Jensen and them were involved in it, or to see the Umbrella Academy parody, which everybody was in, you know, it's like, it's absolutely mind-blowing to me to be able to like post, oh, Hillywood Show, like that name somewhere, and somebody know what I'm talking about. Like, I have friends here who I say, oh yeah, I'm really big on the Hillywood Show. And they're like, oh, I love their Supernatural parody. Oh, I love their Walking Dead parody. Oh, did you see this one? And it's like, it's mind-blowing to me, because back then, like when I was younger, nobody knew who they were. So now that they're like so big and so popular and still so insanely humble, and like literally like nothing has changed for them except for like the I'm boggled. Like, I'm speechless. I'm so proud of them, and I love them with all of my heart. Like, they are my babies. Like, I will always be a Hillywood Show fan through and through. Like, so yeah, I just really had to make this video. So please check out the Hillywood Show if you haven't had a chance to already. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you know exactly who they are, but just in case you don't, you know, go check them out. They're really cool. They have a lot of stupid, unadulterated talent, and they've been doing this for a while. So, like, they are the only people I will ever get starstruck over. So, yeah, thank you for watching this very long tangent video. I will see you later.